If you could spend a moment with some remarkable people and discover what their life sounds like, what would you ask? Welcome to Are We On Air, an audio encounter. I'm Armand, and each episode will feature one conversation with an inspiring friend of mine who will share with us the soundtrack to their life. Hello, beautiful people, and greetings from cloudy but glorious Venezia, and welcome back to another sweet episode of Are We On Air? This week's EP is close to my heart as it's of some sort my personal musical story. You see, growing up in Cologne, Germany, I always heard of this thing, this label, this store, these parties with the very German name of Kompakt. And when I was 15, ready to buy my first records, I went to the Kompakt store, completely mesmerized by it. It felt so cool and fresh and futuristic, just as the sounds, as they were so melodic and minimal and mysterious, which intrigued me even more. And when I started to hear that the greats of Parisian cool and chic at the time, such as Eddie Slimane, Michel Gaubert, or the people of Colette, would come to Cologne from all places to source music from Kompakt, I was even more drawn to it. Fast forward to a couple of years later, when I moved to London to study, and MySpace being all the rage, I had the urge and need to reach out to Kompakt as their page felt quite dull. So I just messaged them. Hey, can I help you with your page? They didn't even know me, and neither did I know anything about coding or designing a MySpace page. Yet I somehow managed to convince the good folks at Kompakt to let me try it in return for some free records. Little did we know that this became quite fruitful as I connected their MySpace page to their online shop. And within a month, their online sales went up by 30%. And my record crate got bigger. So win-win. Now, there are more stories I could tell, but why don't we start with this week's episode and one of the main faces behind Kompakt Records, the DJ, producer, label owner, and man himself, Michael Meyer. Michael and I got together nearly a year ago at the Kompakt store in Cologne to go record digging and to talk about the beginnings of creating this legendary label. We learned that staying true to your DNA has been paramount to Kompakt's success and longevity. But we also talked about Michael's first musical memory of German Schlager on his parents' radio, all the way to why music and lights rule his life. But also why Kompakt sound is all about storytelling. On that note, let's start the storytelling. Come to the space with Michael and myself on our YouTube and Spotify channel, and of course listen to the full playlist on our Apple and Spotify channels. And on that note, I also included the legendary Kompakt Total compilation series to that playlist. Pretty major. Enjoy. Now, Viva Colonia, los geht's. So welcome to Are We On Air, Michael Meyer.
Thank you. Nice being on the show.
Yeah, finally. It's our fourth season and coming to my home turf here, Köln. Being here in my old stomping grounds in the beautiful Kompakt store.
Chose the hottest day of the year to do that.
The hottest day, yeah. I usually would wear a suit, but too hot. Before we get into it, I think let's have an espresso and a glass of water because it's so hot.
I can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now that we're in the store and you have a new cafe area, that's kind of...
Sort of. It's more like a small event space for like little live shows and discussions and all that. It's not really a cafe. But I'll make an exception for you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we have a discussion and a cafe. All right. Good.
It's all about the right pressure.
Yeah. Fantastic. Merci. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Tell me, first of all, I think the first time I came to this store must have been 2002.
That was still the old location.
Old location, so 2003?
We're here since 2003.
Okay, so 2003, the first time I was here. I remember just, back then there was no coffee spot. It was just flicking through the records. Mm-hmm. And I guess those were my formative years. And it's nice to come back home and have a coffee with you and chat about Kompakt Records and your career and your life story through a couple of songs. Mm-hmm. And why don't we start with What's your earliest significant musical memory that shaped you as an artist?
Well, that would be my mother's kitchen radio. My mother had the habit of waking up, switching on the radio, and switching it off before going to bed. It was like blaring all day, all through the house.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was this thing before the news, this channel, which normally only played Schlager music, like really, like, I mean,
Best
there's some
German
nice
music,
Schlager,
yeah.
but all day long it's a bit intense.
Yeah.
But they have the habit of playing an instrumental song before the news because it's easier to fade out. And those were my favorites. I was always waiting for 5 minutes to a full hour because then I knew there was something I liked.
Produced by the channel? Or
No.
Oh.
No. Some of my all-time favorites tracks were from that time, like let's say Space, Magic Fly, Alan Parsons Project, Voyager.
Really? They would play that?
Yeah, or Hot Butter Popcorn, stuff like that.
Amazing.
So it was all instrumental, mostly electronic.
Why don't we move over to this beautiful news section? Because back then this used to also be where the records were, right?
Yeah, we shrunk the store a little bit in order to make room for this space here. Like we can fit maybe 50 people in here. You know, it's like small events. Yeah, that was the stuff that was played before the bad news came on. It was the 70s, so disco was everywhere. Schlager was heavily infected by disco. Quite often. This one came on really often, and it was my absolute favorite.
It still is. I love still playing it.
I'm still playing it too.
Yeah. And do you remember a moment when you were playing this in a gig?
Too many to mention. Yeah.
I know it's also too many to mention as well, and very difficult. But how would you describe yourself with 3 songs or 3 records that define who Michael Meyer is?
Yeah, it's a toughie. But I brought something at least.
Love.
Imagination, music and lights.
Yes.
Because that's what rules my life. I mean, it's the perfect title to describe my
Let's
biggest
play it. Let's
passion,
play it.
which is
I love that record.
discotheques, dance music. I mean, I was an early bloomer. It started when I was about 12 years old. I had this neighbor who was involved in a discotheque. He was the laser operator in that discotheque.
The VJ.
Well, the LJ.
The one LJ.
And that triggered my fantasies. Like I counted the days until I was allowed to go there and see this place with my own eyes.
Yeah, wow.
And at the beginning, like I was in my parents' house in the basement. I had a little laboratory where I built like little light effects for my own mobile disco system.
But that was also still the period when he actually had mobile DJs, disc jockeys, right?
Yeah. But to me, it was the same thing. Yeah. Like having the lights and the sound, it belongs together, you know. So my goal was from the beginning, buying the coolest records, as many as I can afford. And if I can't afford to buy expensive light effects, I have to build them myself. Yeah.
Skills.
Yeah.
Well, let's play music and lights then.
Mm-hmm. I mean, these outfits. The first record I ever called my own was actually by this German Schlager disco project called Genghis Khan.
Oh, yeah.
And the cover of Genghis Khan looked pretty much the same as this one. They also had these Roman outfits. I was crazy about Genghis Khan. They're totally underrated.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
They should be credited for inventing that Gangnam Style dance.
Yeah.
They did it already in 1978.
Who, them or Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan. Yeah.
Together we have power. Let me show you all the glamour and gold.
All right, third record.
Yeah. So this should certainly be one of those records that define me or that describe me best. I brought a whole bunch of records that could potentially do
the job.
What you're asking for. One of them being, let's say, chronological. Pet Shop Boys, especially for the track "It's All Right," which actually is a cover version of a Chicago House track by Sterling Void.
Wow.
The lyrics of the song are like, it's all about the bad news in the world, about the wars that are going on, and but the chorus is it's going to be all right. Like this
how fitting for the times.
Such a positivity, and that's something I've always tried to do in my life, like staying positive and spreading positivity through my music.
That must bang in a club though when you play.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I had to choose a Pet Shop Boys song. I could have also chosen Being Bored or Heart, or like I'm a massive fan of these guys.
We all are, but I can see a red thread going just from those three records, how it kind of influenced your electronic sound and your personal sound, as a DJ, but also as a label owner and the sound of Kompakt, you know? Yeah. I mean, yes, we are talking about techno, but more on the warmer side. What was the first release? You remember the first release?
The very first Kompakt release, of course I do.
What was it?
I can't even tell you the first. Maybe I'll make it until number 100. I can tell you every artist and title.
Really? Wow.
But then I've lost it.
What's this?
But this is the third record that would be a defining record for me.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
It's by Westbam.
Ooh. Shout out to Westbam.
I was really flabbergasted by the fact that a regular German guy from Münster is able to create something like that. You know, he called it the DJ mix culture. Like he wrote like pamphlets about about how the DJ is able to create a new form of music. And he was an amazing DJ already at the time.
What year is this?
This must be 89.
Right.
Yeah. It's like all samples stolen from a million records before it got forbidden. But the fact that a German guy from Münster can make a career out of that triggered me enormously.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I can do that. Yeah.
There's hope for me.
Did you guys play together ever?
Yeah.
Sure.
There was a period when we found each other. I saw him the first time in Berlin at UFO Club.
Yeah.
In '89.
Wow.
I went there. I went to Berlin for that purpose. I needed to see my hero. You know.
Yeah.
And later on, like late '90s, early '90s, our paths crossed many times.
Did you ever play at the Love Parade?
I've only played after shows. The Love Parade itself scared me. Like, it's too many people.
Yeah, it's too big.
Never my thing. But I played Mayday several times.
Yeah, nice.
Even played the main floor once.
Wow, yay. Yeah, because, I mean, what I love about your sound and the sound of Kompakt, which also at very early stages resonated with me, was you were trying storytelling.
I think that's the right word. It's like telling a story, and it's a journey. You actually have to bring time with you and attention, to really take you throughout an evening instead of giving those 30 seconds, those 30-second highs, which, I mean, let's talk about for the social media generation today, it must be, that doesn't have the attention span, it must be difficult for you to build a set like that. Sometimes when you play, have these, or people know what to expect.
People
like
who go to clubs, they are used to having a bigger attention. They do have a bigger attention span than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about clubbing is that's the opposite of what's happening in social media world. Like you immerse yourself into a night and into the sound. You don't talk too much.
But you still have a lot of phones out, no?
Depends on the club. Fortunately, there's some clubs that have a strict no phone policy, like Gewölbe here or Berghain in Berlin. And I have to say, it really helps the vibe. And right now in electronic music, I think there's two trends. One is like people who really are in it for the music and that like to immerse themselves into this experience. And then there's the others that go to a techno show like they would go to see a musical or and they're standing there with their phones out and they're not even dancing anymore. And it's like, what's wrong with these people?
Do you remember the first title on Kompakt that you released?
Yeah, the very first Kompakt release was there's two versions to tell this. We used to run a label before Kompakt, which was called NTA, New Transatlantic, for whatever reasons. And the final release on that label, number 16, was called Köln Kompakt 1. And there was also a CD compilation with like artists from Cologne under the same name. And the CD was the first album release, Kompakt CD 1. But Kompakt number 1 on vinyl is Jürgen Pape, Triumph. Jürgen is one of the founders of this company.
I mean, I that minimal sound always spoke to me. It's warm. It's warm, sexy techno. Do we have a record here? Should we play one that defines the sound of Kompakt? Or maybe,
we should have some Kompakt records. Yeah, we did a reissue of this one for Record Store Day some years ago. Yeah, this was 1998.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's still fresh though.
Ancient, but it sounds
still fresh. You can still play it. Talking about music and lights, I think the Kompakt store itself has always been super inspiring visually as well, and goes hand in hand with the sound. Was that deliberately, or was that more? Oh, we found a cool space. We like the green tiles. We keep it more rustic. I love the design of the space.
The green tiles were already there when we moved in.
What was it before?
It used to be a electricity store, like for lamps and stuff. There were lamps hanging down the ceiling.
Music and lights. There you
go. After they closed down, it got taken over by a TV production company as a requisite storage facility for Anke Engelke and like all this Brainpool production stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a conscious decision to keep the design
minimal,
sort of to fitting with our music.
Yeah, I had this conversation once with actually a Monocle radio a couple of years back, where I was talking about how music and design influences each other in certain periods, right? Each zeitgeist kind of shapes the other. And I think that mid to late 90s minimal sound was also reflected in the loft design, right? The minimal loft design. I think it kind of goes hand in hand. So that's why I always thought, Did you guys design yourself? You had someone in an interior, because with the metal, aluminium shelves, steel shelves.
That's mainly my partner Wolfgang Vogt's brainchild. I remember vividly we had huge arguments about it.
Why? What did
I
you
was
want?
scared it would look like a butcher store.
But that's what's so special about it.
I would have opted for wood, I think. But
Very typical for a record store.
True. But, if you know Wolfgang, he always gets his way.
I'm looking at the Kompakt scarf 20 years, which is probably now 25 years ago, no?
No, 20 years was almost 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
We'll turn 30 next year. Yeah,
How does one, as an artist, but also as a label, stay relevant after all these years? Like, how do you grow as an artist? That you adapt to the sound of the times, or you stay true to yourself?
I think what really kept us in business was that we first never went over the top. There were opportunities to become much more successful than we ever were, but we consciously took decisions against that. Like, it's not that we were scared of our own success. It was more like we're going to lose control very quickly if we, make a deal with the devil.
Who's the devil?
Oh, mainstream press, major companies.
So the goal was always to be slightly under the radar and really for the heads.
For us, it was crucial to always keep full control over our everything we do. Like, here in this house, we have offices. There's studios downstairs. There's a warehouse downstairs.
We gotta check out the studio. Have a look at the studio.
Secret place.
Is where all the records, or majority of the records, are produced.
Yeah.
Downstairs.
Well, only by the owners, not the other artists.
Okay.
Then there's the offices upstairs where we, there's digital distribution, physical distribution, there's booking agency, publishing. We basically control 360 degrees of everything that has to do with releasing music.
Which is kind of rare, no? For like an indie label in the electronics world, because you also have distribution. Because I know a lot of artists and other labels kind of distribute through you guys. No?
We're often copied, but never matched.
Very good. I remember your Superpitcher record. You did it with Axel, Superpitcher. That was also 2005. That was your first one? Like your first?
The album was in 2007, I think. We started working together 1 or 2 years before. We became studio mates and suddenly realized that it's much more fun and more efficient if we work together.
Yeah.
Like, our qualities really matched very well. And so we started out doing some remixes together. Like the first thing we did was he was helping me a bit with my Pet Shop Boys remix, the mix then.
Flamboyance, the way you live, you really care, the stare and the press. Clairvoyance is always there. It's what you do and your life.
From then on, we only worked together for quite some time. Then we also started performing together. Like we played back-to-back DJ shows, inseparable.
Still. It's less and less.
No, we're separated, but we're still friends.
Yeah. Favorite, what track shall we play from you guys?
From Superpitcher?
Yeah.
Well, I think the most iconic work we've done is our remix for Rufus Wainwright's Tiergarten.
Yeah,
but this one I don't have it here.
We'll play it. We'll play it.
I have suffered shipwreck against your dark brown eyes. I have run aground against your broken down smiles. Believe me when I tell you I have no place to roam, but to go where the wild.
Well, to go slightly more intimate, what's your go-to falling in love on tracks?
Yeah, that's a tough tough one as well. I mean, that's two questions in one.
It's or. So
Yeah, I mean, falling in love is easy, and I can do that with any kind of music. And falling out of love or going through a breakup, that's a whole different beast. And in breakups, I go through different stages. At first, there's like still hope, maybe, you know. Like, so I would listen to Paul Young, Come Back and Stay, for instance. I think that's pretty perfect for that part of the breakup.
Since you've been gone, I shut my eyes and I fantasize that you're here with me. Will you ever return? I won't be satisfied till you're by my side. Don't wait any longer. Come back. Why don't you come back? Please hurry. Why don't
Then I would start suffering and listen to anything by the Pixies, maybe. Hector Berlioz, Symphonie Fantastique. It's a classical piece,
Yes.
a great romantic piece that describes the whole thing, like falling in love, going completely crazy, and dying out of love. Like it's the whole enchilada.
I love it. And when you're falling in love and you're feeling super sexy, what's the sexiest song?
I'm tempted to say Chris Isaak, Wicked Games. That's certainly one of the hottest ones out there.
The world was on fire and no one could save me but you. Strange what desire will make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you.
Then Barbara Streisand, Woman in Love.
Barbara.
The road is narrow and long when eyes meet eyes and the feeling is strong. I turn away from the wall, I stumble and fall, but I give you it all. I am a woman in love.
Love it. Well, to wrap up our little chat, if your life would be a movie, what song would play in the end credits?
I had a few answers for that. Oh yeah, okay. Pixies again, Monkey Gone to Heaven, in case I die at the end of that documentary.
And the water god who controlled the sea. Got killed by 10 million pounds of sludge from New York and New Jersey.
And there's Alan Parsons Project, which was my first favorite band. Like I was crazy about Alan Parsons Project,
Yeah.
rather than Pink Floyd at the time. And they did this song called Old and Wise, which is a song like the singer says goodbye to all of his friends. And it's so deep and so sad.
when they ask.
And if the documentary, the Netflix documentary, is about Kompakt, what track would play in the end credits there?
I don't know. Is there a song called "We've Done It All"?
I'll Google it. Find it. Well, Michael, it's been a real pleasure.
Same here.
Thank you for being on air with us. Let's flick through some records and maybe pull some nice stuff. All right, let's maybe pick some Speicher, some anything really, like 2-3 records, some classics, or maybe what do I have to buy? What do I have to take?
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, I already spent way
I
too
love
much.
all my children equally.
Yeah.
You know.
Or 3 records that you really enjoy right now.
From Kompakt. Yeah. Well, the latest one, Jonathan Kasper.
Yeah, I love Jonathan Kasper. He's Danish, no?
Classy.
Is it?
No, he's from Cologne.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Very classy new take on the minimal, combined with melodic techno sound, but not as cheesy as most of the other stuff. So this is really beautiful. This is the best record on earth.
Really? Yeah. What is it, Eddie
Chacon.
Chacon?
Yeah. He was famous in the early mid-90s for being one half of the duo Charlie and Eddie.
Yeah.
Charles and Eddie.
Oh, really?
Would I Lie to You?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He was part of it? Or was
Yeah.
a producer?
No, he was one of the singer, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I think he crashed pretty hard
Yeah.
and left music business altogether until recently. Then he produced this album together with this extremely talented guy called, you should interview him probably.
John
Kirby. Yeah, he's insanely good. Really. Legend.
I nearly died being a fool over you. Yeah. You never meant to hurt me. You were hurting yourself. You were hurting yourself. You were hurting yourself. You were hurting yourself.
Banging club stuff. This is the latest Robert Wome, for instance. He's always amazing. Like, he has a sound of his own. Like, he sounds like no one else. Or no one else sounds like him.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, Superpitcher.
Superpitcher. Shout out to Axel.
And the clack, clack, clack. And this. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. It's all. Hey, little raver.
You know, the biggest problem with Axel was he can't find an end. Like, you know, his tracks are always like 10 minutes at least, you know. And
I mean, the famous time, right? Pachanga Boys is like, what, 15 minutes?
And now with his new record, he's really indulging in it. Like, each side is like 20-something minutes long, but it's so beautiful. I will grab one from the warehouse for you.
Oh, yes, please.
What else can I recommend?
Ooh, we love
this
Sexiest.
guy is really good.
Kaidi Tatham.
Have you heard of him?
No. Kaidi
He's
Tatham.
coming more from a hip-hop instrumental background, like beatsmith. And
Beatsmith. I like it. Wow.
and he's getting more and more electronic. Yeah, really, really nice record.
I listen to that too.
Yeah. And maybe something more techno-minded.
Yeah.
This would be my favorite techno record right now.
Really?
It's called Pariah, Caterpillar. Sound design is outrageous. And it's quite minimal, and it does some heavy damage.
Let's listen to some heavy damage. Thank you very much, Michael.
Welcome.
Thank you for tuning in this week. If you want to listen to the full playlist, visit areonair.com or our Spotify channel. You can also find us on Instagram and on YouTube at areonair. And a big thank you to my wonderful team at Studio Neu. I'm Arman, and I'll speak to you soon.